So we have Docker installed on our Ubuntu 22.04 server. We have Portainer installed for the graphical user interface. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add your containers so that they get an IP address on the LAN subnet. One of the use cases of putting containers on the LAN subnet would be that you're running multiple web servers and they both require to be accessible on port 443. You can put them on the LAN so that they have their own IP address. You can even forward ports directly to those IP addresses and make it accessible on the internet. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is log into our Portainer server. So I'm going to log in 10.37.0.7. That's the IP address where my Portainer is hosted. And I'm already logged in. First thing we're going to do is, obviously you're going to see this screen, click on local and click on networks. So we're going to add the LAN configuration first. So I'm going to call it Macvlan-config. Driver, we're going to use Macvlan. Parent network card for me is ENS160. You can find that by logging onto the server through SSH and run ifconfig. And you'll notice that's your parent interface right here. That's the IP address that I'm currently accessing. So that's the parent interface on your host server. I'm going to select ENS160. Subnet, this is where you specify your LAN subnet. So I'm going to put my subnet here. It's a /20 network. For most people, on a home network, it would be 192.168.0.0/24. For me, this is 0.1. For you, it could be 192.168.0.1 IP range. Now, this is important because this is the IP range that Portainer or Docker will use to assign IPs to the containers. Now, if you're specifying your entire LAN here, if you don't specify the range correctly, what will happen is Docker will assign IP addresses from the start. So first IP address of your container could be 10.37.0.1, 2, and you don't want that because obviously on your LAN you have other devices that are already sitting and you want to have Docker to assign from a specific range. So what I like to do is you can actually divide your main network into multiple subnets where I like to go to site 24/7 subnet, and you can type down your LAN subnet here. And let's say we want 16 or 20 IP addresses to get assigned to our containers from the LAN. So I'm just gonna select /8. We're gonna use a /27 network in this case. So as you can see, it has created multiple subnets. You can choose one of these for our containers. So I'm going to select 192.168.0.64/27. What this will do is Docker containers will get IP addresses from this range, 65 to 94, which is more than enough. You can have multiple containers. So every time you create a container, Docker will automatically assign IPs between these range. So I'm going to select, you could do 192.168.0.64/27. For me, I can't use that because my main subnet is different. So I'm going to go ahead and type 10. I want it to use 10.37.14.0/24. This is a pretty big range, so I'm okay with assigning 256 IP addresses to my containers. And that should be it for the configuration. We're going to click Create Network. And so this is the configuration. Now we need to add the network so that it's usable by the containers. So we're going to click Add. I'm going to call it LAN. We're going to use Macvlan again. And this is not the configuration, so we're going to click on creation. We already created the config. Now we're creating the network. So I'm going to select the configuration that we created earlier, and I'm going to click enable this. I'm going to click on create the network, and as you can see, it's successfully created. I'm going to add to this video, there are templates available online where you can specify the URL here and it becomes a one-click install. So for example, this is the URL I'm going to use. I'm going to put this in the description, and these are all the Portainer templates. I'm going to click Save Settings, and then if I go to App Templates, as you can see, it's getting all these containers. These are all pre-configured templates that we're getting from that site. It becomes a one-click install pretty much. So I can choose whatever I want. Let's say I want to install Pi-hole, for example. I can just search Pi-hole, click OK, and select our LAN network here. And we can leave it as Pi-hole. I'm going to click Deploy Container, and that's it. It will install Pi-hole on the main network, on the subnets that we have assigned. I'm going to wait for this to finish. And as you can see, the first IP address is 10.37.14.0. So I'm just going to wait for this to fully turn on. I can see the HTTP server has turned on. So I can just paste that IP and you can see it's accessible. So it's as simple as that. So to summarize, we created a Macvlan configuration. We created a LAN network using that configuration for the containers, and we created a template. We installed a container and used that Macvlan or LAN configuration for assigning IP addresses to the container. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And thanks for watching.